This is the Biz News Podcast, one-on-one conversations with experts in business and personal development.
Joel Schulman, a former Marine Corps officer and expert in positive psychology, says there's a science to bravery. And it's not just bravery on a remote battlefield, but it can be the bravery to leave a safe and comfortable job for the toil and uncertainty of striking out on your own in business. Joel Schulman joins us for this episode of Bizgnus Interviews. Joel, give our listeners and viewers a little 30-second elevator explanation of how you got to where you are today.
I started in the Midwest, Minnesota. Then I decided to become a United States Marine. Then I went into corporate America. Now I run my own business helping corporations. And I now speak, write, study, and research the science of bravery.
The Science of Bravery. That's the title of your new book. How is this a science, for heaven's sakes?
Well, I think it's because of my background. When I was in corporate America for 14 years, I was always in the pharmaceutical space, the biotech and the device space. So I was so used to, you can never talk to a physician unless you could back it up with the studies and the science. And then I've had my leadership development business for the last 10 years. So same thing. Like, I don't want to tell you, Douglas, or your audience what I think people should do to be a good leader. I always look at the evidence, look at what do we know based on organizational psychology. So I've always kept that, the desire to make sure I'm looking at what the science says. And then when I just finished my master's in positive psychology, I really became interested in bravery. And what is it? And can it be elevated or increased in people? And there is science behind it. A lot of people just think I'm not brave, or I am brave, or I couldn't be brave. But what I can tell you with confidence is bravery is something that anyone can develop. And when they do, they end up elevating not only their success in life, but more importantly, their happiness, their life satisfaction, and their well-being.
Military leaders throughout history have tried to figure out how to make their troops more brave, down to the point where, I guess in World War II, the Germans gave their military amphetamines to keep them going 24/7, it seemed. But you're not talking about a drug-induced bravery, are you?
No, I'm so glad you asked. So no, I'm not giving them any type of drugs. I might have sold drugs or led sales teams selling drugs in the pharmaceutical industry, but now I don't do any of that. So no, it's really based on teaching people how to develop a brave mindset. It all starts with your self-belief. Can I do hard things? So I do a lot of work on the cognitive side, helping people believe that they can. But then you can't stop there, because the evidence tells us that sometimes people can be dreamers. Oh, I can do anything, but they never do anything. So then the second thing we have to teach people is how you can take brave action. And bravery isn't eliminating fear. It is taking action and stepping into things when fear exists. So we got to have people believe that I can do it, even though I'm a little bit afraid. And then they've got to take the brave action. And sometimes when you take a couple steps forward, then you're like, wow, I just did that. So then there's brave action. And then finally, and this is where the magic trifecta comes in, is if people can leverage brave relationships. And that is, what I mean by that is, if you, Douglas, decided that you wanted to climb a mountain, maybe Mount Baldy, which is a pretty easy mountain to climb here in Southern California. It's one of the first ones that I climbed. It takes usually people 4 to 5 hours to climb, no biggie. But if you were to be brave, and for you, if that was a stretch and that was a goal of yours, it would be wise and helpful for you to leverage brave relationships. So find out who's climbed Mount Baldy before and ask them for help and advice. So it's really important, instead of just surrounding yourself with people that, Douglas, you might have people say like, oh, you don't want to climb Mountain Baldy? That's stupid. Like, just stay home and relax and drink a beer. Like, why would you want to do that? So you can sometimes surround yourself with people that will hold you back from being brave and moving toward things you want to do. So you have to kind of curate and select, like, who are the people that can help me achieve the hard thing? And then, build that brave tribe and then surround yourself with those people. That will help you build that bravery. And that's what you're talking about in the military, maybe not the amphetamines, but when you're around a lot of other people that share the same values and are taking that brave action, it's amazing how that's contagious.
As you look back over your varied career, what acts of bravery have you seen that you will say, that is something I need to emulate?
Hmm. You know, um, a real tangible example is when I've seen people leave a corporate job that's very comfortable and decided they want to start their own business. I think that is an act of bravery. They have a passion, they really want to try something on their own, but staying in the comfortable job with the 401k and the salary, that's safe. For them to take that risk to try to start their own business, that is an act of bravery. Um,
Now,
and
Jill, I don't mean to interrupt, but some people say there's an act of idiocy.
yeah, and we do talk about like what I call brave and then stupid brave. So you there are, if someone says, "Hey, you know, I bet you can't do 5 shots of tequila in 5 minutes." Like, okay, that's just stupid brave. That's not going to come to it. Or take everything you've earned and go to Vegas and put it on black, right? And that is that is stupid bravery, right? So this is really about thinking about what is really meaningful to you, and that you really want in life. And then how can you take those little steps toward it? Right. So for me, I took that brave leap and other people inspired me to do it. I left the comfort of corporate America. I was doing very well. I had a great job. I love the people I worked with, but I had this desire to step out on my own. But that has led to so many other things and a richer career because now I get to work with various different companies and focus on the things I want to. So I don't want someone to like, don't quit your job and just say that you want to start a brewing company. We've never done it before. There should be progression, like little baby steps. So if someone wants to climb Mount Everest, Douglas, they shouldn't go and just try climbing Mount Everest next month. They need to do, let's try to hike a couple hours and then let's do the little Mount Baldy and let's do bigger and bigger ones. So it's about the step progress, that really helps you build that bravery muscle.
How has your research and experience changed your life besides making that bold leap to go into business for yourself?
Yeah. Um, that's a really, really great question. The more I learn about bravery, the more I have to apply it to myself. So, I started my business 10 years ago and I just went back to school 3 years ago. So, and it was during my studies at the University of Pennsylvania studying positive psychology under Marty Seligman. This is when I discovered this is the area that I want to focus on. So I think as I've learned about the science of bravery, each day I wake up and I say, I have to live this if I'm teaching it. And it's not easy every day, but I really try to embody what I teach. And I'm kind of making another shift. Like I've written a book on bravery. I'm now getting on stages with hundreds and thousands of people and speaking around the world. This is definitely me demonstrating bravery, right? I've had a training company where I teach leaders, maybe 25 to 50 people at a time. That feels safe and comfortable. So I'm getting uncomfortable, and that's what bravery is all about.
Tell us more about your book. How long has it been out and what's been the reaction?
Well, the book is finished, and it is not going to be launched until May of 2025. So it is done, but there's a lot of things that you do with the publisher. So the book is done, and there's a lot of things to stay tuned for. But we want to make sure that we have the most successful launch. So the publisher has their launch plan. So it is coming soon. It is written, but this isn't the first time I've published a book. So I thought you write a book and then the next day it just goes on the market. I guess I'm learning. So it takes a little time for the publishing company to do all the things to do a successful launch. So coming soon.
Coming soon to a bookstore on your corner, so to speak.
Exactly.
You have talked about a lot of different things regarding bravery. What would you like to get across to our listeners and viewers that I haven't been able to ask you about?
I just want your listeners to realize that seeking comfort and choosing the easy path sometimes feels like the way to be the happiest. But what we know, based on the evidence, is staying too comfortable actually leads to lower life satisfaction and really sometimes a life of regret because you didn't do the things that you wanted to do. So I encourage your guests to embrace discomfort and to try to be brave. And I know it is scary, but anything really great in life is on the other side of something really challenging and really hard. So, and I want them to know that you don't just get a gene, or you don't inherit a gene. That's the word I was looking for. You don't inherit a bravery gene from your parents necessarily. Anyone can build the skill of bravery if they can practice the brave mindset, brave actions, brave relationships. So there's things that you can do, and it starts small, and then your brain literally starts rewiring because our brains are plastic, and then it gets easier over time. So I just want your listeners to know, I know I'm someone that's a United States Marine, so they might be, oh, it's easy for Jill to say she's brave, but for me, it's been a journey. If I can be brave, anyone can be brave. So I just encourage people to, if they want to learn more, I'm sure you'll be putting my information. Like, I have a free assessment that helps people assess how brave they are. And then I give them a free handout, which will give them actions that they can take to start building bravery in small ways right away.
And where can they get that information? A website, I'm betting.
Yes, my website. Yeah, it's just my name, www.jillschulman.com. So JILLSCHULMAN.com.
You've been listening to the Biz News Podcast. We welcome your input. Send your email to editor@biznews.com. That's BIZGNUS.com. Thanks for listening.